Alrighty guys, so I'm going to walk you guys through your very first essay assignment. This is a contextualization essay, so we're really focusing on making sure we understand the historical scope and place of these authors and these different works. So your prompt, what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the authors that you've read in this unit, and your choices are right here, everything from Columbus to the Vaca, Smith, Winthrop, Bradford, the Native American Trickster Tales, and Bradstreet, who you just did. So when you choose one of those authors, you're going to develop a written analysis of one work from that author. I say one work because I want to keep it manageable for you guys. If you really feel compelled to do two works from the same author, that's fine too. If you feel like there's, say, two letters that have to be analyzed together, you can do that. Just make sure you keep it tight and clean and don't let yourself wander too much. And then within that, you're going to incorporate contextual elements related to their life, their cultural history, or their larger historical impact. So as you begin to think about how these texts relate to their identity or their place in history, I really want you to be thinking about why the text matters. It's all about the text. So I've given you a few questions to kind of think about. For example, what does the text do? What does it do in the broad scope of history? What does Columbus's letters show us? Or what does Bradford's sermons, what did they say? Or what do the Trickster Tales show us about a marginalized group or voice at this time period? You can also think about structures, subject matter, or tone. So how do those show a particular aspect of the author or the society at the time period? For example, Bradstreet's poetry is a very powerful view of women's role during this time period. You can also think about how it shows the intersection of any of the following: religion, society, family, self-identity, national identity during the time period. So, for example, what does John Smith's text show about the coming together of these two different cultures? And then how does the work influence our perception of history or national identity? We have a very clear image we often associate with Christopher Columbus that doesn't seem to match necessarily with the letters. So how did this perception of him in history get formed, and how did the letters kind of illustrate a different side, for example? So I want you guys to include at least 2 research resources in your work. I've given you a number of different links throughout the biographies of each of these authors that you can go back and use to help you. They're all credible, they're all perfectly acceptable. If you have other ones that you'd rather use, that's fine too. Just make sure that they are cited correctly and that you include them in a bibliography, which you absolutely must have for MLA. So there's a few things I want you guys to think about when you're writing. I want you to make sure you have a clear thesis and main ideas. So very clear main ideas as you write, and then I want you to expand on those with evidence from the text and from the outside sources. So if you're going to tell me that something matters from the text, I want you to back it up with specific words, phrases, or passages which will help support your argument, and then expand on that with further analysis. Don't just leave it hanging as evidence. Make sure you explain why that evidence contributes to your argument or why it's important. So your essay needs to be 3 to 4 pages. So I say 3 to 4, meaning you absolutely must have 3 full pages at minimum, and that means all the way down to the end of the page, not stopping halfway down the page, because that's only 2.5 pages. So I will take off points if it's not the correct link, so just please be aware of that. I give it a limit of 4 because really I don't think you need to write much more than that, but if you feel like you want to write more than that, you're more than welcome to. And then it is due, of course, by Sunday at midnight, no exceptions. The link will close at that point. Lastly, I want to remind you that remember that all the essays will be checked for plagiarism through the Safe Assign database. Please don't give me something that you've already submitted in a different assignment, and please don't give me something that came from the internet, because we will catch it and you will get a 0 and it's just not worth it. So just don't do it. And here's a nice little checklist for you guys as far as the criteria that I'll really be looking at. So I want to make sure there's careful, close analysis of the work. It's all about the literary work, so give me really good analysis of it, its major concepts, and then within that, talk about the author's identity and how that contributes to sort of a historical contextualization. I want lots of good solid evidence to support your claims, both from the primary and the secondary research resources, proper number of resources, as well as proper page length, MLA formatting, citations, all that surface necessity. Fully developed essay structure, including significant introduction, clear main ideas, and a conclusion. And then lastly, make sure that everything is nice and clean and neat and organized, completely free of typos and all that good stuff. So a few helpful ideas when you're writing this essay. You can consider any combo of the following things. I've just given you some ideas in case you kind of are a little rusty on analyzing written work as a piece of literature. You want to be thinking about things like characterization. So how do the characters in the story kind of develop? Or literary devices that are used, some foreshadowing, some flashbacks. How are the structures built? For example, John Smith builds a very nice dramatic structure with a big sort of climax at the end and a big heroic ending for himself. How does that contribute to our understanding of him? Same thing with the idea of a point of view or a narrator. A lot of these are letters or personal poetry or personal tales. So how does that structure contribute to our understanding of that author or the time period? And then I've just given you a few other ideas down here. Think about the historical, social, ethical, and moral issues as well, especially in the sermons. So hopefully this is clear to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me by email. I will do my best to answer it. Make sure you budget your time well. Give yourself plenty of time to write this, edit it. Don't start this on Sunday morning, as some students like to do. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time and give yourself plenty of time to submit it as well. So the submission you'll see is right below this. I'll upload another video just to make sure that submission is perfectly clear. So make sure you don't leave it until 11:59 on Sunday night because the link will close, and if something doesn't go right, you're kind of out of luck there. So like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you guys will do awesome. Good luck.